Hi there again, everybody. Welcome back to Prestige Auctions, and this is a podcast kind of on my own, but it's also going to be the auction aftermath for yesterday's specialist sale. So why are we not filming a podcast today? Well, it's quite simple. Everything went bloody wrong this morning. So we planned to film the podcast this morning at sort of 8:30 with Chris, and of course I gets up this morning and decides to put the heating on for work, as I always do, because we rely so much on the internet these days, and nothing. The app says no comprende, not working, not interested. Thought, okay, there must be a problem somewhere. Anyway, I can also do all sorts of other different things on the internet from my phone for work. Goes to do some of the other things that I needed to do, not working either. Right, so there must be a problem with the internet. Not a problem with the internet. Okay, let's get down to work. Let's get the job done, and then we'll sort out the problems when we get there. Anyway, gets to work. Well, no, sorry, it gets worse yet. Gets out of the house. Van decided it didn't want to work. I mean, I've had enough of vans just lately. Vans are the bane of my life. So I've got 4 vans now, of which only, 2 of them are kind of working. One of them we got working the other week. 2 are still not working. And then my other one, the battery decided to die a death on me this morning. Of course, it's never simple, is it? I just thought, well, where's the battery? I'll put a jump pack on it, get it going, and everything will be great in the world. Well, I can't suss it out. Anyway, me and Lisa are at 7:30 this morning are trying to push a van out the garden to get another vehicle out, blah, blah, blah. It's been an absolute frigging nightmare. Got to work. Turns out that the problem was a power lead come out of something. We just plugged it up. Everything was great again. But by this time, I'd lost my mind. And basically got to the point where I was like, well, do you know what? I've got too much to do now. Chris had to go and do other things, so we couldn't get the podcast done today, which is a real shame because we had so much to talk about. So I figured what I'd do is have a bit of a chat with you guys, talk to you about different things that have been going on at the auction room, and but with no Chris, which is really sad because he is my partner in crime when it comes to the podcast. But it's been an interesting sort of week, and anyway, there's a few things to go through. I mean, yesterday's auction, of course, which we'll come up to soon. We're going to do a bit of an auction aftermath on that one. And then there's all sorts of things that have been going on in and around the auction scene. I mean, we've been doing lots of quotes and get lots of things done. But no, there's been all sorts that we've been doing, and loads of stuff that me and Chris had to talk about. But it's really hard to talk about that without talking to somebody else. You kind of bounce off each other when you're doing the podcast. So what I will say though, just recently in Prestige Auctions, because anyone that knows after not tomorrow, not Saturday's auction, but the following Saturday's auction, we are shut down for 2 weeks. We're having a 2-week shutdown. We're having some lights replaced in the auction and bits and bobs like that. Nothing major this time, but we get to have a little bit of a break. Now, I'm planning on doing 14 videos for you. 14 videos there's going to be a bit of content going out every day. We're not 100% sure what we're going to do yet, but we've got a few ideas. We are going to be announcing 2 specialist sales before Christmas. One of them is a big one, and it's on site and all sorts of stuff. One of them is a smaller one. It involves a lot of interesting collectibles. So we probably will announce those during some of the videos that we put out while we're off. But we're also going to try and put you some interesting stuff out, some behind the scenes footage. We've got some stuff about a scrapbook, and we've got some stuff planned for you. So even though we're going to be shut for 2 weeks, we are planning on keeping you all up to date of what's going on at Prestige Auctions and what's going on behind the scenes. So I think as we sort of head towards holiday time as well, it's a good time to say a big thank you to everybody that's supporting us, not just in the day-to-day business at Prestige, but the actual YouTube side of things. YouTube is a project that I massively wanted to do for so long, and we only started it kind of 18 months ago properly, and we're already up to 3,400 subscribers, which is great, and it's fantastic that we're being watched now. this last month, for the last 28 days, we've been watched for 8,200 hours, which basically for every hour of every day, we're being watched for 12 hours, which is down. And a thank you to you guys, everybody that watches and gets involved with the YouTube side of things, does help our small business grow. And it puts the information out there. And you know what? I'm going to say there's a few people I'd like to talk about, but be a little bit careful. But first of all, I want to talk about a new customer that we've not actually met yet, and a guy called Kevin in Leeds. Really, really nice guy. Calls a spade. There's no doubt about that. But you know, when somebody turns around to you and says they really look forward to watching our videos and it makes the day, and also, you know, that kind of hits you a bit there, you know. So we put a lot of time and effort into all these videos, and for actually somebody to actually tell you, not just leave a message, but actually to tell you that what we're doing, you know, is making their life a little bit better day on day and stuff to look forward to, then that makes me feel quite good, and it certainly spurs us on as a business to carry on doing what we're doing and putting this content out there for you like we do. Kev's not the only one. Other people have said it to us as well. Lisa actually had a gentleman go into the office and said to her that he'd got himself into a bit of a dark place in his life mentally, and to the point he didn't want to be with us anymore. And he said he started watching our live from the living rooms in the past and the auctions on a Saturday, and he said he loved even though he was on dark place and on his own, and he'd been through some ill health, he said he really looked forward to what we did. And I think this then takes you on being prestige auctions, prestige clearance. It goes beyond the businesses, you know, the businesses of what we do to make money and to employ people. And it kind of gets you a little bit more into people's personal lives when they're telling you stuff like that. And it's quite warm. It's quite a warm place to be, that you know, that you're doing something that's making a slight difference. You know we don't make a difference to everybody's life. Some people absolutely frigging hate us. You know, some people want to slag us off online all the time and all the rest of it because of the way we do things at Prestige Auctions. And fair enough, you know, everyone's entitled to an opinion, but ultimately we do what we do and the way we do it because it's what we're about. It's what we are as people. And, you know, me and Lisa, we fight like cat and dog, like the best of most married couples. But ultimately, you know, we do what we can for the good of the business. We don't always see eye to eye, and it becomes prestige of the community, which we often talk about. Some people will never get it. They'll never get it because all they see is an auction room. Just one second. So exactly what I'm talking about. Lisa just interrupted me there to give me some information. So I don't ever expect people to understand. Somebody that's a seasoned auction buyer that goes to lots of auctions all over the place will not and probably never will understand how we run Prestige. Prestige is a completely different kind of auction concept, and we said that from day one. We wanted to create it as a community. So basically, we wanted everyone to get on. We have barred big dealers in the past from using this auction room. Why? Why have we done that? Why would you take a decision like that would affect your business financially? Well, because the thing that affected our business financially also affected the well-being of the people within the room, whether that be members of staff, whether it be other customers. So what do I mean by this? Well, when we have situations in the auction room, and we had one last weekend, but it's not necessarily just that I'm talking about, because we've had several situations like this in the past where people don't like the way that we do things. I'll give you a great example. We do a thing on a week-to-week basis where we allow people, regular customers or people with health issues, whatever, that sort of understand how we work things here. They will come in and they'll write reserved and then the number and put it on a chair. And she's basically reserving their chair ready for the thing first thing in the morning. Now, the only time we have a problem with that is if they don't turn up till later in the day, because it's not fair on other people. But if you're there first thing and you want to reserve a chair, then fine. You know, we've had people in the past saying this is ridiculous. I've never seen this in an auction room yet. No, you haven't, because this is our auction room and this is different. And also, you know, people, you know, they talk about the way we do commission bids. You know, we have been caught with our pants down on certain things where people haven't liked the way we've done things, but we do them for all the right reasons. And ultimately, you know, when you have people that don't like the way we run things in here, we can't really do a lot about that. We can't really do a lot to change that, because it's the way we run our business. And just because that's not how 90% of the other auction rooms do it, doesn't make us wrong. What it makes us is different. So we created a community feel. It's about our customers. We talk about this all the time. We wanted to set up the auction room that would, you know, sort of be the right sort of place for people to come. We have people coming to this auction room on a week-to-week basis that hardly ever buy out. But you know what? They get to spend the day around other people. They get to talk to people they've got to know, people they've got to trust. And friendships have been formed. You know, you have people that now go out together on a regular basis. Good God, we even had an engagement in the room. So to be told that what we're doing is not the right way is quite hurtful to us. We're not that kind of business. We're not horrible people. We just run our business our way. And if people don't like that or don't understand it, then, you know, you don't have to come to the auction. You know, if you don't like the way the auctions run, leave commission bids. You know, there are one or two people that I know that don't like the format of the auction. They come in, they still leave bids every week. You know, we don't go out of our way ever to upset anybody. We only ever go out of our way to make everybody's life easier and life better. And if we can't do that for you, then I'm sorry. But we are going to carry on doing it in exactly that way, because it's our way. It's the way we like to run our auction. And it's the way that we've found works over the years. But what you will learn in business in any auction room is you will never please people 100% of the time. So we'll underline that one for now, as long as it was just, you know, sort of making people understand why we run Prestige like we do. Anyway, what I do like to say is that most people that come here give us fantastic feedback and say how much they enjoy it. You know, we constantly get messages, and sadly not all of them put them into reviews. Some of them just send us messages, had a great time at the auction, first time I've been, never been to an auction like it. We hear that one quite a lot, and that is what makes this place tick. So there you go. So apart from that, we're looking forward to our break. This one has been a long one coming. Was April the last time we was off. When you turn in Prestige auctions around like you are doing on a week-to-week basis with, you know, in excess of 1,000 lots every single week, it's hard work. The phone never stops ringing. Everything is hard. It's hard work. Every member of the team here knows what they're doing, but they all work hard. And you know, we've had new members of the team this year. Sadly, we lost some members of the team, and you know, other people. You know, some people move on to other things, but Prestige carries on, and it's been a very, very long run, this one. We're looking forward to spending some time with family, and we hope that you lot are going to have 2 great weeks as well, with some time away from us. But that's why we're going to put these 14 videos on, so you can at least remind you of us every single day. Do watch them, because we're going to be doing some hints and tips on buying and selling. I'm going to try and do a bit of behind-the-scenes footage. Me and Chris are going to endeavour to get 2 podcasts filmed, so there will at least be 2 podcasts on before we go away as well. While we're away, but filmed before we go. Okay, so I'm sure I'll think of some other stuff to say as well, as part of this sort of podcast side of it. But I just want to have a look at yesterday's auction, because yesterday's auction online we had some technical issues in the morning. My computer decided to do another one of its famous updates. I love my computer. I need to get rid of it. Which affected YouTube. So not many people got to see the start of the auction. And, of course, Easy Live went off at one point as well later in the sale, but we got that resolved and got it sorted. Not quite sure what the problem was, whether it was internet or what. But yesterday we started off with, of course, the house. There it is, the house at North Thoresby, which for most of you will know didn't sell. Didn't make the reserve of £150,000. Well, why didn't it? Well, I don't know. I mean, I thought it would have sold, if I'm honest. I thought it was a decent property in a decent area. My fear is that people... certainly some people locally had tried to put people off buying it and so on, and I think that going forward, who knows what will happen to it now. I'm sure it'll get sold at some point, but for what reason, I'm not sure. But there you go, it didn't sell. We did everything we could to try and get it away. We advertised it to everybody, and sadly it didn't make the reserve. So anyway, there you go. That was lot number 1, and lot number 2 was this. Well, this was probably the shocker of the day. You know, this one here selling at £2,150, the Rolex watch. Needs a bit of work doing to it as well. It needs a service. Probably needs a little bit of repair as well. It's been stood for years, and it's not working. And there you go, £2,150 for that old Rolex. We then got on to some of the alcohol. Well, alcohol, I've got to say, as specialist sales go, we tend to not get too many people in the room. And the room for the alcohol had loads of people in it. People was obviously fancying this. You know, it was being able to buy a bottle of Moet Chandon there for £10. That was cheap, but there was one at 38. The bottle of port there at £70. You know, so stuff. It just shows you stuff can sell well in the auction. If you've got things like this to sell, then why wouldn't you bring them down to the auction room? You're not allowed to sell it legally anyway. You have to sell it through something like us that's licensed to do it. Of course, unless you're going to sell it illegally, but then that's up to you to look out for. Various bottles of whiskey and things are making 16, 20 quid. What you are finding, if you look in the shops this year, even on the run up to Christmas, the prices aren't that cheap anymore. Whereas they used to do sort of 1 litre bottles of Smirnoff and things in Tesco and Asda for 16 quid, you know, they're nearer 19 quid on special offer now. So that's what I've been seeing anyway. Martell, £26 there, and Glenfiddich at £26. And generally speaking, the malts and everything, some of this was, you know, there was a bit cheaper. £22 for a bottle of Glenmorangie, that's what, 35, 36 quid in the shops. None of this is cheap anymore. Whereas that one there, the Bombay Sapphire gins, were making £18 a bottle. In fact, I think they all made 18, didn't they? One made 16 and 3 of them made 18. But if you was looking for alcohol, it wasn't a bad place to be yesterday. So let's skip past the alcohol now, so we don't all want to talk about alcohol, do we? And come down to the arts. Well, the big David Waller there, oil painting at £400, and that apparently is going to Canada. Someone's going to have to send a specialist courier in to pick that one up. £200 for the other piece of art there, and then some of the items didn't sell. Some of them have sold after the auction and so on. That's always the case with the auctions. Don't always assume that when something doesn't sell in the auction that it's not still for sale, because it is. Same as that house at the moment. Royal Air Force stuff, the Lightnings and stuff, 16 quid. That was a bit cheap. I think that probably would have done more in the general sale. That little Moorcroft vase, £22. 6 quids and things for a load of comics, but it was getting rid of stuff. You know, it's some stuff's never going to make a fortune. These records would have definitely done better in the general sale, but that's the way it goes. And then the police stuff did kind of found its mark. £80 for the Royal Worcester Bowl. The Marmite, we had a telephone bid for that Marmite big thing there, big pot made by Wade at £55. It went in the room in the end. I was very surprised they didn't sell. The Scale Electric Ferrari and all the Scale Electric cars, you know, between £12 and £22 each on those. You know, they were probably on point really to be where they needed to be. They're not worth a fortune, but they're not giveaways either. as we started hitting the Star Wars stuff, well, 38 quid for the modern Star Wars figures. And then as we came around the room, Batman figures, £44. There was proper money for toys yesterday. There's no doubt about it. You know, there was the odd bag in there, but generally speaking, you know, like that, the Trolls there didn't sell, but I wasn't prepared to drop below a tenner on those because it's unfair on the vendor. Again, it's about our customers. Box of Power Rangers there includes figures and vehicles, £28. And as we, you know, you sort of went through the sale, you can see these 18, 12, 18, 40 for that one there. Box of all these action figures and things there. Look, you know, people can normally recognise good toys. Lego was selling extremely well yesterday. Some of the vintage toys, they all sold. And the old Subutio there as well. Look at that Subutio at £40, that one there under the hammer. So, you know, people were recognising what was good, certainly in the sale. I mean, we've certainly got the better stuff to come up to yet. As we come down here, we had Diecast, we had Roland Rat, Tom bought Roland Rat, and all his mates. And all the Spider-Man stuff there at £22 a box. I'm trying to get down to here. So that one there, the Hogwarts Castle there at £55, but it was some parts where that were missing, but we made that very clear to people. But again, as a reseller, selling them bags that are still sealed, they will still sell for money. Believe me, people are looking for this stuff. Sylvanian Families, they were all cheap. Down here, some of the games didn't sell, some did. Transformers, look at this G1 Transformer stuff, 42, 60, 44, £42, 44. Star Wars box stuff, £80 on that one. You know, this stuff was making fair money. Them Star Wars 4 box sets of Lego there. Look at those, there they are. What did they make? £120 for those. You know, so people really do recognise. I mean, look at that one. Those ones there, they did £160. There you go. So all these Star Wars bits and bobs, it just shows you the power that Star Wars has still got in the marketplace. The Smurfs were cheap at 16 quid, and then we got on some of this old sort of box stuff. Planet Xeon, Tomitronic there at £46. The Mass Vampire Touring Cycle at 60. And then we got on some of them more of these. 46 for that, 42, 140 for that Transformer piece there. 140 quid for that in the box. And then 140 for the Optimus Prime as well. Another Transformer bit nicely in the box. Imagine if the box would have been mint, how much it would have been worth. And then, you know, 50 quids and 90 quids for that one there. That Star Wars piece at £90 just shows you again that, you know, when you're having these loft clear outs, look at that one, £120 for that one as well. Jabba the Hutt. When you just don't go giving this stuff away, don't, you know, unless you want to, of course. If you want to give it to charity, it's entirely up to you. But I would certainly be bringing it down to the auction and trying to make yourself a few quid on it. We got onto some more of the Star Wars Lego, and it was making all sort of 30s and 40 quids, and we got onto these 75, 130 there for the Millennium Falcon as well. So again, another good sale for somebody. I'm sure the gentleman that brought all this stuff in will be chuffed, as pleased as punch, because it was all sat in the attic, all this stuff. Lord of the Rings box, I made sort of maybe 16 quid a box on most of them. Did start coming down towards the end of them at 14s and the odd 10. But generally speaking, all the Lord of the Rings figures sold as well. Millennium Falcon, there it is. Look, from the Empire Strikes Back one in the box. £160 on that one, and it just shows you this stuff is just still on fire. But then there it was. This was creating a bit of a stir in viewing. Lots of people was looking at all the stuff that was in this box, and there it was, £690 on that one. A lot of money. 120 for the Land of the Jawas, the 120 quid one there. And again, Action Man stuff, look, there's no doubt about it, Action Man isn't as popular as it used to be. But some of the older stuff was making money, or some of the others was making 10 and 12 quids. It wasn't loads of money, but I fully expected that. It's not red hot, the modern stuff. The Resident Boat Buyer bought that one. He went off happy, and he said there's a bit missing. He's got to make it, so he's chuffed with that. Most people would be disappointed, but Pete seems to be quite happy about it. 65 quid for the Williams Honda up there, and then Yoda sold as well. I see that leaving the building this morning. And then we had various other bits and bobs, even the old boxes of marbles there at 10 quid and so on. So ultimately, £100 for the Pokemon cards, them there. I mean, I don't know a lot about Pokemon cards. Is that good? I don't know. The Harry Potter ones sold, 240. 240 for those Pokemon cards there. I mean, that just shows you what I know. We then got into the gaming stuff, and it was a bit of a mixed bag, really. Anything sort of Nintendo, the Wii stuff struggled. That would have done better in the general sale. Old Rolfie there on his stylophone, look, £10. Just shows you what a bit of bad publicity can do, because they used to make a lot more than that in that box. We got through the games. There you go, £210 there for the Nintendo games, and then various old gaming stuff. These old TV games don't seem to be making the money, not like the retro gaming. The retro gaming is where all the money seems to be at the moment. Then we ended up heading towards the back end of... we got the other PlayStation games there at £200 for those, for PlayStation 1 games. Just shows you people are enjoying the retro stuff. The coins all sold, 40 quid for the dateless, 20p. And then some of the shillings and that I thought might struggle, well, 60, 180, 120, 230, 190, 190, 200. You know, some of this stuff made some proper money. And it just, again, goes to show you that just because even my opinion of that was it wasn't worth probably as much as some of it sold for, but it did sell. The notes kind of struggled. That one made £100 there for that old 10 shilling note. And as you came down, we got on some of the things that were obviously valued by the owner a lot higher, and they didn't make the reserves. But there you go. That's the auctions for you. So again, I thought it was a good sale, and it's always nice to have that specialist sort of sale before you go away on holiday. It certainly helps with all the holiday pay, let's put it that way. So thank you for your support on that sale, everybody. And anyway, back to the podcast. So we've looked at that sale. The sale was good. People are collecting that today. But again, you know, speak to people. Tell your friends about what Prestige do down here, and about how they can, you know, dispose and sell of items from house clearance and things. You know, so many people are too quick to go and sell it on a boot sale or give it to charity or whatever, when they could be putting some, you know, some real money into their pockets as well. You know, everyone's going to be feeling the pinch, especially after this budget that's going to hit at the end of this month, we're being told. So, you know, let's, you know, try and look after yourselves first. So, can't really think of a lot more to tell you on this one. I just apologise that you didn't get to see a podcast tonight, not proper. But Chris being busy, me having loads of problems, and it's been one of those days. So, look, we're going to be doing lots of work next week. We've got a fantastic auction for you tomorrow. The auction room today has been absolutely packed with people. It's an amazing auction. We're looking forward to selling these collections that we've got in. And then ultimately, tomorrow we'll have the auction. And Sunday, we're going to start the filming. We've got 14 videos to get done, ready for while we're away, as well as doing the videos for next week as well. So in theory, we've got 21 videos to get done next week. It's going to be a mammoth task. I'm not sure we'll get it done. But listen, everybody, the reason we do it is for you guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your continued support and business that you bring to our small family-run business in Grimsby. And hopefully you'll all have a fantastic week. And we'll hope to see you all very soon at the auction.